Welcome back to the KEMPIRE Daily YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. As you know, I share quick snippets of my thoughts on the show on my social media. So if you're not following me, head on over to our description box for more details. But in today's video, I just wanted to give a quick thought on this. I shared a more detailed and sometimes different thoughts on my podcast. The new podcast is available right now, KEMPIRE Radio, again, link in bio. Okay, so let's quickly talk about this latest episode. So this latest episode, we get a more behind the scenes look into the other ladies. In the past, I talked about how Jen and Mary Cosby are the real stars of the season so far. And I also thought the season was starting to drag only after 4 episodes. I'm not so sure. I think Bravo and these Real Housewives producers have a lot of content and they're just slowly giving out that content to us. I love how they throw back to like 2 months before. I'm like, oh, wow, you guys have a lot of information. Anyways, so this latest episode begins back at the luncheon, their Met Gala inspired luncheon, where Jen is trying to have a conversation with Mary, and Mary is just really giving us that whole bag of weird. Yes, that's the latest episode on the KEMPIRE Radio channel where we're talking about Mary Cosby. We had to title it Bag of Weird because that's what I've been calling her this entire time. I love how she stops everything. She's like, you're upsetting Walter. We all look like, who is Walter? But of course, the editors segue to the 2 older white gentlemen standing behind her. And she's like, I know them too. This is Jen. And Walter is just sort of like, okay. And we're all sort of like, okay, what is happening here, Mary? Mary is just strange. She's a strange person, but that's what we love in our housewives. We love the strange. We love this sort of behavior. But I think Mary sort of lost me this week in regards to having her side. Jen actually showed a level of self-control that we have not seen in any of the episodes so far. But not talking too much about them because they still have not resolved their issues. They're still some of the main stars of this new city. However, I love the fact that we got a closer look at people like Heather. I know a lot of people like Heather. I think they like the down-to-earth side of Heather. And I love the fact that she is a part of the Mormon religion and it's giving us some of the history and the beliefs behind the Mormon religion, but at the same time saying, yeah, that doesn't work for me anymore, or that, is not working for modern society. But she's giving us the history. And I love her relationship with her daughters. And she's also a hardworking woman doing it for herself. Of course, still, getting, I'm sure spousal and child support, because she did admit that, they still live well, but it is different, especially when it comes to being outside of the Mormon religion because of divorcing. So I like Heather. I'm getting there. I need to warm up to Heather's personality because her personality is a little dry. I didn't really love the friction between her and Mary at that luncheon, but I love the fact she still held her own though. She didn't just like fall back. Also at the luncheon, another star person that's really showing her life in this series is Whitney. Whitney may appear to be like the sweet, naive one, but I love the fact she was like, okay, I might be 30 years old, Mary, but you guys are acting like 10-year-olds and you're like in your 50s. Like, come on. But she's also sharing her father's struggle with drug addiction, which is a huge problem, not just here in the United States, but around the world. And I love the fact that they're representing that part and telling that story on the show, because I think it is really important. And her father, and we also meet one of her half brothers during this episode. They seem like they have a really sweet family dynamic, and I like seeing it. Speaking of families, Merediths Family, who we love, everyone loves Brooks. We do. I think Brooks is a little spoiled, just saying. But I do like that Meredith's husband is really trying to fight for their marriage. I like the fact that they are dating each other again. I think a lot of couples can learn from that, but they're still struggling. And that's real. That's a real situation. And I'm actually starting to warm up to it. And because at first I was sort of like, this is not really bringing anything besides Brooks. Brooks is your best, your best part of your family. But I'm starting to warm up to Meredith. I like Meredith's friendship with Lisa. We also get a little bit more Lisa this time around. I like Lisa's family and her dynamic. I think it's because of the whole New York flavor that Lisa has. Also, doesn't Lisa remind you of a more fancier version of Drita from Mob Wives? And I have to put two pictures up and let me know if you think the same thing. But I like her relationship, Lisa's relationship with Meredith, and how they really do ride for each other. I don't want to see that break up because you know how these housewife shows are. Sometimes those relationships don't last long. But as I said to you before, if you want an expanded conversation about the housewives, I'm talking about Potomac, I'm talking about Atlanta, and other hot topics in my show on the KEMPIRE Radio Network. Link will be made available in the description box, so don't forget to check that out. This was just a quick video today. Have a great Friday and weekend.